Hi friends, I'm Stephanie Hansen. Let's go! I've been cooking, eating, and talking about it for years.
This is amazingly good.
Now I'm inviting you along for the ride. You seem like you're pretty adventurous about food. Meet the chefs, home cooks, restaurateurs, and bakers honing their crafts. Oh, look at that technique. And try new recipes with me in my kitchen. It's simple, it's easy, that looks amazing. There's always something delicious to share. This is Taste Buds. Hi Taste Buds and happy Mother's Day. I knew that I wanted to do a Mother's Day show and I wanted to do it with two of my favorite moms. My friend Zoë François from Zoë Bakes and my friend Laurie Crowell from the Golden Fig. Now, I knew that Zoë would wanna help us make something that we can break down at home and do ourselves. We are also going to bring her a little gift. And when I was thinking about what to get Zoë, I knew I wanted to go visit my friend Laurie at the Golden Fig because she has the most delicious chocolates. You know, moms, we never buy the good stuff for ourselves, so I like to give it as gifts. Let's go to the Golden Fig. Yeah, I can get real weird about candles. Smell that. Oh, don't you hate it when your knocks things over? I am at one of my favorite places in the Twin Cities. Oh, Laurie Crowell is here from the Golden Fig. I am a diehard Golden Fig shopper, you know. Laurie has the best chocolate selection in town. You know all about the chocolates. You have vegan chocolates. You have chocolate salted caramels. So when I think of moms,
yes,
I always like to get chocolate for Mother's Day. That's kind of my thing. And I like flowers.
Yes.
And I like Minnesota-made products. Mm-hmm. And I like dishes. And I like pans. Like, you have all the things.
You're in the right place.
You introduced me to some beautiful chocolates that when I knew I was going to Zoe's house, I was like, I need to get that specific chocolatier. She's from the Twin Cities, Cocoa Flake.
She is, Cocoa Flake, Denny. She's newer on the scene and we just love what she's doing, like really fun, different flavors.
I want to do like a 12 pack. Is that a thing?
Yes, so
okay.
It's funny, we always say we have any size. We have from 2 to 42. So,
okay,
yeah.
42. I mean, wow, that's a mom that you really love.
So like the strawberry yogurt is kind of a fresh, refreshing,
yes.
The Italian coffee is probably my favorite in the case.
And it looks like a perfect little Christmas ball. Cheers, Taste Bud. Oh, look at that. It is like you're standing in Italy at an espresso counter with some chatty old man that's making you the most delicious cup of Italian espresso in a truffle.
The peanut butter, it's nice. It has a little sea salt. Now this banoffee is kind of fun. It's banana and toffee, so it's a little crazy, but kind of fun.
Amarino orange, marshmallow crunch. Laurie,
Yum.
You're the best. I want to get her the delicious drink mixes that you make because they can be mocktaily or cocktaily, whatever she prefers.
They're very fun. We make them every week. This is basil limeade. It's sweet and it's tart. And then normally the idea is you add about as much, just fizzy water.
Yeah, so like a 1-to-1.
Yep. This one is really delicious with gin and just that juniperiness with the basil is great.
Yeah, just super delicious. It's like someone just made you a perfectly fresh basil lemonade.
It's really refreshing though, and I feel like with the lime juice, it's even more so.
And then we have the lavender lemonade.
Lavender lemonade, a little sweeter, a little more floral, and it's just lightly floral. So it's a whisper of lavender.
Which is exactly why I love it so much. It's good in mimosas too.
Yes.
Very delicious.
I've used it with white wine and fruits and made like a fresh, springy, like sangria almost, and that's also fun for Mother's Day.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Stursby.
The Stursby.
It's the wooden stick that you see me use whenever I'm cooking on Taste Buds. It is just the best, and you have the Stursby.
We have a lot of them. You make so many, Diana, and the thing I love is because they're wooden, they don't scratch stainless, they don't scratch nonstick, and they've got a little point so you can scrape the edge and get everything out. They're perfect.
Okay, I'm gonna just finish up my lemonade and get over to Zoe's. Thanks, Laurie.
You're welcome.
I always love a day at the Golden Fig. All right, it's time to go to Zoe's house, and we're gonna make meringue pavlovas. And if you follow Zoë Bakes on Instagram, you know that this is one of her signature dishes. And then we're gonna go to my house and make something even easier that anyone can make at home. All right, let's go. You guys, this is a big day on Taste Buds with my friend Zoë François from Zoë Bakes.
Oh, it's so great to have you here.
It's so amazing to be here in your kitchen.
Yeah, I think this is the first time that we're actually baking together, isn't it?
It is. And I
crazy.
said that we did like a little picture earlier and we were kind of hugging and I was like, the last time I touched you, we were dancing. Because if you watch Zoë, she's always dancing. Yeah, we've been to some charity things together. Zoë has had a whole pastry life. Like you were an award-winning pastry chef, then you wrote a bunch of books, Artisan Bread in 5, about how to make bread the easy way. Mm-hmm. Then you went off on your own again and like explored Zoë Bakes. And now you have Zoë Bakes cookies coming out. And you were nominated for an Emmy Award, which I'm very thrilled about with your holiday special that you did with Andrew Zimmern for Magnolia Network. But we are here today because it's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And I'm a mom, you're a mom. And
Best day of the year.
Yeah, I've actually seen you make this before.
Yeah.
I took a baking class with you this winter.
That's right.
And we made pavlovas. And I learned some meringue tricks from you that we're going to share with you, Taste Buds, because I think people are so afraid of meringues.
Yes, and it is my love language.
Okay, a meringue is your love language is kind of funny. Most people, it's like gifts or acts of kindness.
It seems a little bit magical.
Yeah.
Because you're taking egg whites, which are not particularly beautiful, and sugar, and just by blending them together and adding air, you get this ethereal, crispy, miraculous dessert. And then we're gonna layer it up with some lemon curd and whipped cream and berries, and because it's spring in Minnesota, rhubarb. So first we're gonna start with our pavlova. I would say the most important thing with egg whites is they can't have any fat. So no yolk. The bowl has to be perfectly clean. Like if you just made your cookies and there's even a tiny bit of butter in there, your egg whites are not gonna whip. Everything.
This describes my... Because I always get a yolk in there and then I fish it out.
Fish it out entirely because the fat prohibits all the proteins from binding and getting all of the air in them. I am putting a little bit of cream of tartar in there, and that makes the protein stronger, so you get more air in them, more lift. So that's it, just the egg whites and the cream of tartar. We're gonna let that go for like 30 seconds, just until it starts to get foamy.
Okay, and you're on like a setting of 8 to 10.
Yeah, 8 to 10, we're like medium high.
Yep.
You can see that it's getting foamy. I'm gonna turn this down. This is super fine sugar.
Yep.
They sometimes call it baker's sugar, and it melts in the egg whites, and that helps your meringue too. I'm drizzling it in. I'm not just like dumping the whole thing because I don't want to break down any of the bubbles that I put into the egg whites.
That's another good tip for those of us non-patient people who just dump.
And then up it goes.
I mean, look how fast your soft peaks are already starting to form.
Yeah. It can take up to 5 minutes for it to really get aerated. Okay, let's see what we've got. Look at that.
That is crazy.
So that's like a medium peak where it's not like standing up proud. It's kind of like, I'm also gonna add a bit of salt in there. This is like a ground up kosher salt. So it's like using the superfine sugar, but superfine salt.
Who even knew that that existed?
I know. So another like minute or two, and we're gonna have a beautiful meringue.
I would have thought these were done a few minutes ago. So I clearly need to learn a peak or two.
See how now it's standing up straighter?
Yes, it looks like alfalfa from the Little Rascals, which is maybe a very old reference, but you can go with what you got.
Watch this. When I add the vinegar, the proteins are gonna get even stronger and it's gonna have even more body. So about a teaspoon.
Looks so gorgeous.
Yeah, I think it makes it even glossier. Just that tiny bit of vinegar makes it even stronger. This is why I love meringue.
It's like the Dairy Queen cone.
I'm just gonna add a little bit of vanilla extract. And I like to make my own because it has the real vanilla seeds in it. And so you get that like boost of flavor.
So So if you're curious about how Zoë makes this vanilla, she does have a tutorial on YouTube. She buys the beans in bulk and then puts them in alcohol.
The last thing that we need to add to this is a touch of cornstarch. By adding the cornstarch into it, we get a slightly cakier texture.
It does taste like a very delicious marshmallow fluff. Okay, I've wiped the meringue off my face.
As one does.
Yes.
All we're gonna do is spoon a blob, technical term, onto the sheet and then make a little indentation, and then you can do like curly cues or whatever you want to decorate it, but that's it.
Okay.
That's it. So easy.
This seems like it'd be a really cool dessert for a dinner party.
Yeah. Maybe get them a little bit taller so that they're not quite so disc-like. You know what I mean? So they have a little bit of a cup action going on.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. They're still going to be absolutely delicious.
Yes.
There's no right or wrong, but you just want to have a place to put all of your yummy filling.
Okay, so not so disc-like, more circular with...
Just put like a good old blob down and then just stick your spoon in the center. Yeah.
So, okay, do I need to push it down or?
Yeah, because then you want to have, just go right into the center.
I
You
see.
know what I mean?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Like
There
a
you go.
little nest.
Yep.
Ooh, that one looks pretty good.
It's beautiful.
Ooh. Whoops. I'm like the real at-home person.
The beauty of this too is it doesn't matter what they look like. They're so delicious.
And in my house,
I mean, I'm not saying
they're
it's not gorgeous.
Oh, sure, Zoe.
Perfect.
Okay.
So we're just gonna bake this in a really low oven. So 250 degrees for 45 minutes. And then you don't open the door, you just turn off the oven and leave the light on. And the little bit of heat from the light will continue to bake them.
So we're gonna make lemon curd.
Lemon curd to fill it.
I love lemon
So while
curd.
that's baking, we can prep this.
All right.
What we're gonna do is set up a double boiler. I have a pot that has about 1 inch of water in it. I'm gonna bring that to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer. And we're
Okay.
gonna cook this all really gently over the steam. If you wanna grab a whisk over there.
Do I wanna grab a whisk? Well, there's 15. Let's see which one.
Perfect.
I'm gonna go for kind of a heavy duty one.
Yeah, that's great. I'm just gonna dump it in if you don't mind whisking it. And then we'll whisk in the sugar. And then, of course, the star, the lemon juice. And then we're gonna switch to a rubber spatula. I'm gonna also turn down the heat so it's just steamy. And then I want to, at the last minute, add some zest to this. So now it's starting to change. If you draw your finger through, it's sitting there. There we go. Now we're getting thick. So it's kind of like plopping off the spatula instead of just
running.
dripping.
Yep.
So now we can turn off the heat. Last thing to do is just add the butter. Okay, and then we will put this into a jar.
A lot of what you do is pretty, and I want people to know this is intentional.
Yeah, you eat with your eyes first.
You
So I
do.
figure it should be pretty, especially on Mother's Day. I want something pretty. So now we're just gonna put this into the refrigerator, and then we'll get out our pavlova. So they're all baked. I just left them in the oven with the light on. The oven's turned off, but that makes them nice and crispy, and now we're ready to fill.
You know these are the ones that Zoe did, not mine, just so you know. But we've got our lemon curd is chilled.
Yep, this is the fun part, and this is where it all comes together and looks pretty.
Yes.
But first we want to whip the cream. This is not my tool of choice, so
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that because,
I always lift it out of the bowl before I turn it off.
yep. Ooh.
Okay, so a tiny bit of sugar in there, not a lot, because everything else is sweet. Do you want to put a splash of the vanilla
I was
in
wondering
there?
about that too, if you flavor it.
Yeah, oh yeah. The trick to whipped cream is to go low and slow on the speed so that you get tiny little bubbles as opposed to huge bubbles that'll burst. The other thing about whipped cream is I like it just barely whipped. I don't want it to be too stiff. Otherwise, how do you turn this thing off?
I am not an expert in this area.
Okay, and then I always finish it by hand because then I have control over how whipped it is. That looks pretty good.
I mean, it is Mother's Day.
Okay, so just pick a pavlova, and now there's really no rules. You just put it on top.
Well,
So I'm gonna start with the lemon curd that we made, and you'll see when I dip into that how stiff it got, because it was really thick.
Yeah.
It wasn't like stiff enough to hold its shape, and now look at it.
It's like pudding.
Ooh, look at it.
Yum, that is delicious.
So it really has quite a bit of body.
Quenelle of curd, as it were.
Quenelle of curd. I'm just going to,
That looks so good.
okay. And then some berries, then some whipped cream, and then the final one. This is just the rhubarb that my dad helped me grow. And then I baked it in a little bit of sugar and a little bit of rum.
Oh,
And then a little bit of this little pink sauce, and so pretty.
I just smiled and I could hear my lips going, ah.
And then I think we'll finish it off with just a tiny bit of mint.
You just cut into it. It's like a cookie.
Yeah. So you get all the textures. You get the creamy bit from the lemon curd and the cream, and then that crunchy pavlova.
Holy cow.
The flavors are quite simple, but when you layer them together,
And the rhubarb, people don't know too, you love sweets. You'd rather eat sugary things than regular food.
my children grew up not knowing what dinner was.
I know this about you. You were snackers.
Yes, I forgot our powdered sugar.
And I brought you a few things from the Golden Fig.
Oh, I love that store. What is that?
I know. This is a little lavender lemonade that she makes. And this one is a basil limeade. And it's really good with tequila or gin.
Oh, it might be good with the
Or
rum.
vodka. Yes.
We should put a little splash in there.
We should. And then I'm going to introduce you to someone else. It's Cocoa Flake, I think is the exact
Interesting.
Instagram.
That's new to me.
She's a local gal
Okay.
that has started making chocolates.
Look at them.
I know. They're so
Fun. Oh, I'm gonna say like a raspberry ganache.
and so raspberry tart.
Yeah.
Yum,
know.
like it's not
The
overly
flavor is
sweet.
I know, it's really intense. It's hard to do.
All right.
These are gorgeous.
So that's for you. Okay, so when you think about your boys,
Yeah.
what's your mom's superpower?
The first thing that came to mind?
Yes.
Benign neglect.
Actually, that's not bad. And then particularly for boys.
I know. I really did let them be kids and
Yeah.
do their thing. And I mean, I was always nearby, but I wasn't necessarily a hoverer.
I was lucky with my partner.
Yeah.
And from the get-go, I was like, we can have a child, but only one, and I'm going to still be working.
I did quit working in the restaurants, and then I realized that my boys only knew me as a mom. They had no idea that I had this whole other life. And so I went back to work somewhat because I had to feed my own need
Yes.
to do it, but also because I wanted them to see me doing what I love to do.
Isn't that funny?
And I think that was the biggest gift that I gave them, was them seeing somebody who is so in love with their work.
You're a very fun person to cook with.
That's really awesome. This was so great. Here,
Should we have a little
cheers.
toast? Thanks for being a taste bud, Zoe.
Thank you, and happy Mother's Day.
Hi, taste buds. Oh, that was so fun at Zoe's house. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to make something super quick. And here's a little shortcut. Lime curd or lemon curd can usually be bought at the grocery store. So I'm gonna teach you how to make a super easy drop biscuit. We're basically gonna take a cup of flour, and I have a couple teaspoons of baking powder, about a half a teaspoon of kosher salt, and 4 teaspoons of sugar. This is a super easy recipe you can make on a Sunday morning with kids. We are also going to add a 1/4 cup of full-fat Greek yogurt. And then we have 4 tablespoons of cold butter. So we're gonna cut the butter into this pastry with a fork. So basically I just mush it in and turn the bowl and keep mushing it in. What I want is to break down the butter chunks into like pea size. Now we are going to take 1/3 cup of milk, and I'm just making a really shaggy, rough dough. Okay, we wanna make sure we get all of that flour incorporated. And we're just gonna take our ice cream scoop. You can do 6 to 8. All right, and for whatever reason, I have enough for 1 random piece. This is how this always goes. And before you put the biscuits in the oven, let me just tell you, I've already put about 1/4 cup of sugar into our strawberries. You wanna do that in advance so that it has time to get saucy. Going into the oven at 450 for 15 minutes. Ooh, how good do those look? Can you hear that? It's crispy. Okay, buttery, steamy morsel. They're so good and so easy. All right, we are going to like give it a top and a bottom. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this lemon curd with some of our strawberry filling. I'm gonna put the little top back on it because it looks so cute. Put a little bit of strawberries around the outside and a little bit of that drizzle like we did with the rhubarb sauce. Holy cats, is that good? That is a really easy biscuit. I wish you could smell this because it smells so good. So that is it for this Mother's Day episode. I hope you found it as tasty as I did. I really had a blast with my friend Zoë François from Zoë Bakes, Laurie Crowell from the Golden Fig, and this delicious, easy biscuit for this lemon curd. I hope that you have a great Mother's Day, taste buds.